And we're back. You tuned into Sport Federation TV. I'm Ch263 from the world of athletics, and specifically Western Province athletics. We have Gavin, Burgess and Colin Roux, who are here to give us more information about technical officials. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us.
Good night.
Right, so the both of you have very specific functions in Western Province athletics. Tell us about the portfolios you hold.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having us here and affording us the opportunity to speak about technical officials. I'm Gavin Burgess. I'm an elected member of Western Province Athletics. I'm the chairperson of the Technical Officials Committee. So I represent and am accountable for all the officials in Western
And just
Province.
hearing you speak now, I can see why they chose you to do that job. He's just got it all written all over him, in his mannerisms.
Ex-principal.
Ex-principals. That's, you have that aura about you. Colin, and you?
Well, I'm not an elected member of the board. I am one of the better qualified technical officials in the province. Not to blow my own trumpet, it's opportunities that I was given by Western Province to go and do courses.
Right.
So I act as an advisor to the technical committee. I have served on the interim technical committee of ASA at some point, and I have some international experience as well.
So you're a consultant now?
Yep.
Okay.
Don't get paid for it though.
Yeah.
None of us volunteers get paid. What is now the technical official? Obviously, is this a new thing that's happening, or is it being expanded on currently?
I would say it's been expanded on. It's always been there. Athletics need officials. And remember, when we talk athletics, we talk in road running, track and field, race walking and cross country. That's the four components that make up athletics. There's always a misconception out there that when we talk athletics, people think of track and field only.
Right.
So we service the sport and we cover all four legs. So I must make sure that I provide officials for all four legs.
Does when you say track and field, so discus, javelin, all of those things as well?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the technical official expected to do for whichever discipline under athletics?
Colin?
Correct. Okay. Primarily, I mean, any technical official, as in any other sport, is there to ensure that the rules are adhered to. And ultimately, the rules are there to ensure that everybody has a fair chance to compete. That's it, basically.
Right.
So our primary function is to ensure the fairness and proper adherence to the rules. And remember, we are an affiliate of ASA as Western Province. ASA is an affiliate of the IAAF, which means we have a responsibility towards the IAAF to apply the IAAF rules. So that's primarily our function.
It's so interesting, though, you know, the roles of referees, umpires, whatever you want to call them, in all the different sports. They're so understated in their importance, but those people, if they're good at their job, they give the athletes and the players and whoever the confidence in their sport, that the sport is fairly administered, and they don't have to worry about that thing when they compete. You know, the level of competence of the person who's responsible for making sure everything runs properly.
That is so true, and I think your references is exactly the same. We do have referees, we do have umpires, we do have judges that apply to other codes of sport as well. But in our case, we have to make the competition user-friendly for the athletes.
Yes.
The focus is not to penalize athletes. It's
sure.
not to catch them out.
Yeah.
It is basically to ensure fair competition at any of the event, at any of the four legs.
Yeah.
So it's basically to ensure fair competition for all athletes. The playing fields must be level.
Absolutely. It's very demoralizing for a competitor to feel like they are disadvantaged in some way because something's being overlooked or
That's right.
whatever. Hey, and you are there to ensure that that doesn't happen.
Yeah. And over and above that, also, I think we have a responsibility to ensure that our athletes have there are credible results in our country to start off with, and in our province, and in our basic local competitions.
Yeah.
Because imagine an athlete does weigh the rand of 43 or 9. Imagine if it happened at the point where there wasn't a proper timekeeper, there wasn't the accredited timekeeping device. you can do whatever
And
performance can be
in
recognized.
your code specifically, it's split seconds that
it's
makes all the
thousands-
difference.
Hundreds
eh?
of thousands of a second.
seconds, yeah?
Yeah.
And of centimeters. So for us, we need to make sure that our athletes understand the implications of not adhering to the rules. And so sometimes in a local competition, one might have, it's only a local competition, let the rules slide a little bit. But that's actually a bad thing to do, because that athlete then next moves to the next level, and then nobody allows the rule to slide, and the athlete gets a culture shock. So we, in our province, we ensure that we apply the rules as stated in the rule book.
Now let's talk about rules. You know, one of the issues with reffing, umpiring, officiating is interpretation of rules. You know, how do you meet that challenge? Because it's a difficult one, and not only you know, in a lot of sports.
That is where our education program comes in.
Right.
We must start off with our own officials first when we present courses. Make sure that they understand and interpret the rules, because you're going to have to impart that knowledge onto the athlete. In many instances, you find out that the athlete and even the athlete's coach also don't understand the rules.
Yeah.
And we go so far as, you know, to make an athlete understand the rule, we take out our rule book and we read through the rule together with the athlete to make him understand why we are applying the rule. So that is very important. And just coming back to our own officials, and this is part of my program, the officials also need to be impartial. Remember, all the technical officials actually belong to clubs belonging to Western Province Athletics. So when we come to a club competition, you cannot now seem to be want to, you know, advantage an athlete that belongs to your club. You must act impartial all the time.
Yeah. So you have to also have the right disposition as a person. You have to be suited to that task.
Yeah.
Eh?
I just want to come less to the point of interpretation. Interpretation of rules is not there to be done during a competition.
Absolutely.
The rules are, during competition, the rules are to be applied. And that's why when we do our training, we go through all the little quirks that we've picked up over the years in our experience, because there are many things that one picks up when you actually see the thing happening. So when we train our officials, we make sure that they understand the interpretation at that point. Because on the day of the competition, there's no time to interpret, because once every official is allowed to interpret the rule while the competition is taking place, you'll have different interpretations.
Yes.
So at competition level, it's implementation. So we interpret before you step into the arena.
Yeah.
And talking about this impartiality thing, that's especially important when you get down to right to grassroots level, to school level athletics.
Yes.
It's a major thing.
Yes.
And when we, you know, in a competition, there's a person called a meeting manager who briefs the officials. And my point to technical officials at school competitions especially always is, once you step into that arena, you no longer belong to a school, you belong to me,
Right.
meeting manager. So if you are going to, if I pick up that you are advancing your school, you are biased, then I will just remove you from the arena.
Yeah.
Because you disaffiliate from that school, because now you are there to apply the rules as it's written.
But and it's a, you know, we spoke about it being sometimes an overlooked job or underappreciated job, but it's also so much power. You can affect the course of somebody's life,
Oh,
somebody's
yes.
destiny.
Definitely.
That's how important it is.
There are probably a few thousand people, parents out there, who will feel that way about what had happened to the kid at the competition.
Yes.
Sometimes they fail to understand that the human eye is fallible,
Yes.
and officials, like everybody else, do make errors. And I've sort of not really, in my experience, found people who, it's very rare when you find a person intentionally
Yes.
undermines an athlete. They make
Yeah.
mistakes. It's human to make errors. Track and field, as athletics as a whole, in fact, is one of the few sports that actually has the ability for a participant to challenge a ruling, to protest against it, and then even beyond protesting, if he doesn't get what he wants, to appeal a ruling.
Yeah.
And there's a process for an official's ruling to be overturned.
And
in
all of
athletics.
this can happen at an event.
Can happen
Yeah.
at an event.
That's great that you have that
Any
kind
of our events. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
we
mean,
have to
athletics is big money. It's big money. It's huge opportunity for those who excel. So you have to have those systems in place. Hey.
and we have so many competitions, so we must also make sure that are on officials. Our officials are on top of the game.
Right.
Very, very important.
Yeah.
Because in Western Province Athletics, we have so many events on the calendar. It's very unlikely that you find a free weekend, although track and field is seasonal,
Yes.
cross country is seasonal. But if we look at our road races spanning throughout the year, there's not one open weekend where we don't have a road race.
Yeah, no, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, anybody who's liked your Western Province Athletics Facebook page knows you get feeds almost every day from them.
That is so true.
Yeah. Now, this sounds like an amazing opportunity for people to get involved in a meaningful way, whether they're active participants now or maybe retired or whatever. How does the program work? How can they become involved if they'd like to pursue this line of work?
Yeah, Len, that's a battle. In Western Province, we have about 112 clubs, registered clubs. But it's a battle to find officials to come and do training. My ultimate goal would be that each club belonging to Western Province should have at least 5 registered, trained officials. We present courses every year in all facets for all the legs, but the number of people turning up for the events is at a low point.
Some sports, I have the privilege of meeting people from the most amazing and unheard of sports, in my time doing the show. And some of the sports, what they do is they make it compulsory that your club or your league or even your province cannot participate in an event unless they send officials with. Whether it's 2 per team or 10 per league, per province or whatever, it is a requirement. But then obviously there's something that has to come from
that's
top
at
down.
national. National will expect you to do that.
But maybe the province must also look at instituting something like that to get more compliance.
We want to. The other scenario that I've encountered since I've been in this position, clubs would send people for training. Once those people are qualified as officials, they inevitably become the race organizer for the event if they're staging an event. Then it means they cannot be used on the day as an official. So that's one of the downfalls. And if you visit our events, some people get tired of seeing the same faces every week, almost at every road race. It's because we have a shortage of officials.
I just don't like that guy. He volunteers all the time.
Yeah, but then they
Can't win,
they think we're in it for the money. I mean, I've had an athlete come up to me and ask, "Does Western Province pay you so well because you didn't work at all the races?" Western Province doesn't pay us. That type of thing.
What is the benefits of doing this, though? We know the money is not great. What is for you? What have you, besides you've managed to see some amazing things, meet some amazing people, I'm sure,
right.
be part of history for some of the athletes, with some of the athletes. How has it enriched you as a person to be giving back in this way?
To me, I would say the satisfaction. At the end of the day, at the end of the competition, at the end of the race, when you're done and you're now going back to your home, you must feel satisfied that you gave of your best. You must feel satisfied that what you gave was for the benefit of the athlete. So that is the satisfaction, and not necessarily the remuneration part.
And for you, Colin?
Yeah, no, the beauty is seeing a person that you've seen as a youngster, seeing him go through and seeing being a national championship, seeing that person competing internationally, and knowing that at some point, or being there to sign off on a record that an athlete has, a record performance of an athlete, and it's knowing that conditions were according to the rules, so that means the record can be recognized or the performance can be recognized. It's I suppose you have to have some kind of feel for it, passion for it. So, yeah, and of course, the group of technical officials we have in Western Province is like a family, really is like a second family. And during track season especially, we spend every Saturday together. And for those who, I don't do much road running, but for those who do road running, they're together every Saturday also. So it's that feeling of togetherness which is important.
Okay.
So it takes a special, I suppose, the type of person who enjoy that kind of thing.
What would be your parting message for those people who are watching, who are thinking of getting involved in this capacity with you guys, to be part of that team that makes sure that the results that you get is reliable and can be respected, credible? Yeah.
I would say from my point of view, I would like to see more club people coming along to our courses. We have extensive courses throughout the year. Our courses are published on the Western Province Athletics website and Facebook page, so people are welcome to join in. We would want to see, you know, big numbers attending a course. And there's another facet of technical officials, and we also have a dire shortage, and that is route measuring. The guy that has to go out on the bicycle to measure a 10-kilometer route or a marathon route. So, I mean, there's another aspect of technical officials, and we are fortunate now to have a IAAF A grade, you know, A level grade official in our province, in the person of Gavin, right? So yes, that is the ultimate. That is what we want to achieve.
Okay.
Colin, schools?
Yeah, and most importantly, I would think that the grassroots level. The sad thing with schools is that we've trained many people over the years, and those teachers, they actually only work during the school season, and they don't gain enough experience to really become effective technical officials. And that's something that I would like to see. That more people don't just come to do the course to add it to the CV, so to speak, but they do the course to ensure that we develop with the intention of developing, and of course more young people. I mean, these old fads need, at some point we need to sort of go and sit on our armchairs and watch other people do these things.
A good project is always sustainable.
We're going to vacate the seat one of the days.
Yeah, for sure. Then they can say, well, Uncle, why aren't you refereeing anymore? You used to do all the events.
That's right.
You can never win.
No, that is so true.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us, and thank you about shedding some light on the officiating structures. Wish you all the best in developing those structures, and also getting the right type of people there to be a part of that team.
Okay,
it's a pleasure. Thank you very much. Thanks for having us here.
You're welcome. After the break, we'll be back with our last guest. That's Lyndon Julius from the Western Cape Provincial Sports Confederation, who's going to be giving us some information about that mother body in the Western Cape. We'll be back right after this.